morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. It's the best show ever here, live on YouTube, or not live, but we're on YouTube. Ricky Vitalico, Tyrone Johnson here. We have something to talk about. And all you Commanders fans, I want to say right at the top that I hate your guts. Actually, correct that. I don't care about you enough to hate your guts. I pity you, and I find you all to be pathetic. Now listen to this garbage from one of their fans. This garbage. Beating the Eagles. Beating the Lions was a bigger deal for development than Philly. Number one seed greater than Philly. This was a great year. You can say it was a great year. I don't care about you saying that. Obviously, beating the Lions is not greater than beating Philly because you didn't beat Philly. You see, you guys were good enough to beat the Lions. You weren't good enough to beat Philly. Therefore, it's Philly greater than the Lions. And also, after the 55 spot they put on your asses, greater than you too. Ricky, where do these people get off speaking the way they do when they got handled the way that they got handled? It's be humble when you get your butt kicked.
This is flat out just trying to make yourselves feel better. It is. Okay, you went and beat Detroit. You know what Detroit has for a defense? Nothing. They were all injured. They had no defense. You went into Detroit, you beat them, their quarterback made mistakes, and it wasn't your defense that caused those mistakes. It was his bad throws that caused those mistakes. The other thing is you came into Philadelphia and got your asses whooped. You got whooped. It wasn't like it was a good game. I mean, come on. Saquon grabbed the ball once. He was already in the end zone. No. You guys got beat up by a much better team than the Lions. The Eagles team was much better than the Lions this year all the way around. Don't sit there and try to soothe your wounds by saying, well, we beat the number one seed and we didn't have it in the next week. You didn't have it any week. The only reason you beat the Eagles during the regular season is because Jalen Hurts went down anyway.
Well, that don't even count in the playoffs.
I'm just throwing that in there.
What they did.
For their sake.
I don't care what they did. Y'all could have just been a nice little story, but now you're pushing it. Just shut up. You weren't good enough. And you're not going to be good enough next year. And you're not going to be good enough the year after that because you're still the Commanders. Just recognize what you are. All right. I'm tired of y'all. All right. And save the video. This is good. It's going to age gloriously. Also, we know your owner. Your owner's really good at getting close. He ain't won a damn thing with the Devils. He ain't won a damn thing with the Sixers. And he ain't going to win a damn thing with y'all either because Josh Harris is a guy with a ceiling. All right. I don't want to be this way, but it's a ceiling. All right, he has a ceiling. So just cut it out with your garbage. Each and every one of y'all Commanders fans, you should be humble right now and licking your wounds. You got destroyed. You know there's a record for how many points have been scored in the NFC Championship game. You know who set that record?
The Commander. Well, against the Commanders.
Yeah, the Eagles set it on them. And yet they're saying, oh, beating the Lions was a big deal. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. And then also, you guys went to the Hard Rock Cafe. They bragged about taking that over like that was something.
Congratulations on that.
If we go down to D.C. to go to a museum, do we take anything over or you just happen to be there? You just happen to be there.
I'm just happy to be there.
You just happen to be there, you losers. Like, how did you get like that from a city like D.C.? It's a city I can kind of respect, but their football fans are hot garbage.
Well, they're football fans. When the Eagles go down there, it's got to be a little depressing that there's more green in the stands than your colors.
Listen, I'm just tired of them. That's to start off with. On a happier note, weather's slightly warmer. Apparently it's going to snow Saturday or whatever it might be. This building, I want to give you guys a little insight of what happens in this building. Right now, nobody knows what's going on. Everybody's scrambling. Ricky and I have a broadcast this Saturday where we would like to invite you to come watch with us. We don't know where it is. Nobody knows anything right now. It's crazy. Now, it's not that nobody's working hard.
No.
And I think they all mean well, but they have given me exactly zero answers. And here's the other thing, Ricky, I guess we have to talk about it. We left it off the air, so this is a YouTube exclusive. How in the world are the other two shows going to New Orleans and we're not?
I don't know. I'm disappointed.
Now, the thing is, we didn't fight them. We didn't go and
we didn't fight anybody. We took our lickings and walked away.
We moved on, and that was that. But here's the deal. No. If we took it personal,
Mm-hmm.
would we be wrong?
No, not at all. Because I mean, you know what? There's 3 groups basically at our radio station, right? There's 3 shows, 3 groupings,
Yeah.
and apparently we're number 3 on the pecking order. That's the way I look at it.
It's been consistent. It's
Right.
been consistent.
Number 3 on the pecking order.
So then, yeah, because it's a lot of events right now. So you have that going on. So now, in a way, we're the commanders of the radio station because we're not going to the Super Bowl just like they're not.
Just like they're not.
Now we can look at it like they do and go, hey, it was a bigger accomplishment to work here when they beat Washington than going to the Super Bowl. But you see how stupid that sounds. That's how you guys sound, Washington fans. That's how they
It
sound.
makes absolutely no sense
how
to
they
not
sound.
want to be in the Super Bowl right now.
Yeah, so maybe the Lions was a bigger deal.
No, it was
So
big.
the Eagles.
You know what? Why didn't you just take it, leave it for what it was worth? You came into Philly, you got whooped. You could have
Everybody
just
should get
forgotten
whooped
about
sometime.
that, not said anything, and everybody would have been happy with what your team did this year. Jaden Daniels, a stand-up, great year, blah, blah, blah. Okay, congratulations. Finish it at that. You beat Detroit, and then your season ended abruptly.
Abruptly and brutally, humiliating. But they're not humiliated by it. They're proud of that ass whooping they took. Good for y'all. And then finally on a happy note, a somewhat happy note.
Are we climbing a ladder?
I'm trying. So we come to find out that and constantly on the show, we do Educating the Elders where Savannah teaches us about what the kids are doing and we know nothing about it. But why is it that her generation knows nothing? Did you know that there's multiple members of the Eagles team, multiple members that are in the Super Bowl, by the way, unlike Washington, who don't know that Waterfalls, like Don't Go Chasing Waterfalls,
Yeah.
is a song.
Really?
They thought Jeff Stoutland made that up.
It's TLC.
Yeah, you know that. I know that. And most people know that. But apparently the 20-somethings on the Eagles don't know that that was a TLC song. So in their minds, when Stoutland's telling them to not chase waterfalls, they're thinking that that's a Stoutland original. And that's like their favorite Stoutland saying, even though it's completely stolen.
It's not a
'cause
Stoutland.
Clearly Stoutland is a huge TLC fan.
Must have been.
Which is fine. But when do we get to this is what I understand about the generations. I need you guys to help me in the comments or whatever it might be. It's not Washington fans, y'all be quiet. But everybody else. You guys have more access to information than anybody ever.
Right.
You guys grew up with these. We didn't, right? We didn't have those.
We
used
were
to-
word of mouth, everything.
Yeah. Or we have to
radio
go-
or listening.
or we'd have to go to a dictionary to look stuff up, and
Encyclopedia.
encyclopedia. You have to ask. You have to go through records.
Can you
and all
imagine if
stuff
you
like-
told Silvana that people used to go around selling encyclopedias
Right.
door to door?
Encyclopedias, for people out there that don't know, they're books that were alphabetized, and they would come out with a new one every year.
And
with
like
new
each
information.
letter was huge.
Right, and then some would be bigger, like Z would be a little smaller.
Yeah, a little bit.
Whereas like some things, but like in certain editions, and it would be A, B down the line. And it would come out every year. So anything that happened in the previous year, they would put in the
They would add it.
encyclopedia. Y'all have that on your phones constantly. And yet you guys feels like at times you know nothing when you have access to everything. They have access to
They don't
everything
feel
and
it.
they know nothing.
Well, because there's games to play, there's friends to chat with on there.
Well, we have
and they
friends
don't-
in our generation.
and they'll go to Google when they don't know a word or something.
Right, but my thing is, did they really think? Like, did they ever even think to Google? Don't go chasing waterfalls, because I guarantee if you Google that. In fact, let me do that live.
Right.
I'm gonna go on my phone and Google "Don't go chasing waterfalls." And
It
see
will
what
come
comes
up.
up.
That will be the first thing.
Don't go chasing waterfalls. Immediately, the video
Yep.
from TLC comes up on the phone, and yet all the Eagles, a bunch of the offensive linemen,
They
and
don't
them,
know.
think that he came up with it. I just find it to be peculiar. And then for all of you to say, well, it was before our time, stop. Ricky had to know music and all kinds of things from before
Man,
his
I knew
time.
Elvis Presley stuff. That was well before me.
I had to know about Earth, Wind, and Fire. I had to know about Al Green. I had to know about a lot of people from before this. So that's not the reason. It is just a strange time in the world right now where this is happening. So while you're watching the Eagles, you can know, because none of us are in the NFL.
Right.
If you knew that Waterfalls was not a Stoutland original, you have one up on a professional athlete.
Which is pretty good.
Yeah, you have one up on a professional athlete. Last thing before we get out of here, they do the whole media day thing.
Mm-hmm.
They got to do it every day now, right? And then Nickelodeon shows up, and international people that don't watch football
and then your
show up.
clowns.
Yeah, and all that kind of stuff, asking questions. Ricky, as an athlete,
Mm-hmm.
do you think that kind of thing? Obviously, you're going to have the real media there, but all those extra people. Do you think that's a plus or a minus for the players?
I think it depends on you handle it, but I think it's a minus. They're just there. It's just an extra distraction. Do you think they want to be there and ask? You know, they see their regular crowd. Then they see the NFL crowd, the NFL national crowd, and then you see 100 people who aren't there to do anything football wise. Those people should not be there.
Yeah, it's like, hey, what's your favorite food, Jalen? One person asked how to be handsome. Jalen did answer that well.
I did hear
said
that.
was a DNA thing.
DNA thing. That's a good answer.
That is our time for now. Remember, the best show ever, 2 to 6 on 97.5 The Fanatic, 97.5thefanatic.com, and NBC Sports Philadelphia.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching our YouTube. If you want to help us out, go ahead and like and subscribe for us. If you liked what you saw, go right over here to our playlists and pick out whatever you want to watch.